So first of all, Jared, I want to welcome you to Over a Drink. Thanks for inviting me over.
You know what? It's
Little
good to
toast,
be here.
you know what I mean? You see what we do, we sit, we rap,
Okay.
we talk about what we do for a living. That's nice, man.
Right.
First of all,
Caribbean cask.
thank you, brother.
There you go.
This might be the tastiest Over a Drink so far.
Mm-hmm. I don't like to phone it in.
I usually don't take 2 sips before we start talking. How'd you get into TV? What was your call?
It started in high school, oddly enough. There was this graphic communications course that taught a little bit of TV production and a little bit of graphic arts, printing and whatnot. So I took it and then went on to Temple and, just kept working at it.
And one thing I've always said, I even told your wife this one time. I said, you have people who make you work hard because they're lazy. And then you have people who make you work hard because they work hard.
Sorry.
You're that guy, dude. You're that guy, man. That's one thing I admire about you, though, too, man. I think that's a great quality that you have, man. It makes you a really good dude to be around and work with. And I do enjoy when we spend time together out in the field, man. We've covered everything under the sun.
Sure.
But what have you covered in your 15 years doing television news, man, that may stick out in your head?
You know, there were a lot of those crime stories and things and, murders, terrible car accidents, things where, I was the first one on the scene and saw things I didn't necessarily want to see or that, don't end up being seen on TV. And it's that stuff, that whole element of being in the face of tragedy like that. That was tough. I did think at first for a second, what did I get into? I mean, my second day on the job at Fox 29, they sent me the North American neo-Nazis were having a rally, okay, at Valley Forge, right? So go cover this thing. Just, without a reporter, just go. They set them like in this area far down in the park with a big media barrier to keep the media way back away from them. But what happened was, it was the North American anti-fascists that showed up at the gates of the park to hit their cars with bats and everything else that was going on. Pepper spray, and I came downwind of the pepper spray. And I got pepper spray on my second day of the job. I remember calling into the desk.
Learning curve is a son bitch, ain't it?
I got pepper spray.
The learning curve on this gig will kill you.
Yeah. And as soon as I said I got pepper sprayed, they're like, okay, we're sending a reporter.
They didn't say like an ambulance.
No.
They didn't say.
And of course I didn't know not to rub it. So I made it worse.
And you have the pressure of it being your second day, so you try to work through it.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
I get hit with pepper spray, I'm going home.
Yeah. No,
that's the end of that day's worth of shit.
I stuck it out because I was like, you know what? There's going to be some good video here. And then once they started hitting cars with bats as they're coming in and stuff like that, and then they sent up, the neo-Nazis sent a guy to speak to us, and the stuff that was spewing out of his mouth, I'm like, oh my God.
You see these things, right? And you like, is this for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can see pictures of the Klan, you can see pictures of neo-Nazis, you can see pictures of hate groups on TV all day long.
Right.
But when you're put in a space with them, and it's like in your face,
right?
Especially coming from the Northeast. I mean, you know what I mean? We know they exist.
Right.
And there are some that exist in the Northeast. They're just not as emboldened, I guess, than maybe down south or out west maybe. But when you see them, you're like, dude, like.
These guys had Hitler haircuts and a couple of them had the mustache. I'm like, what?
And you're like, where do you come from? Like, where do you live? Like, how are you functioning in this country walking around like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But then, moving on from stuff like that, there's been other things that were just, amazing experiences. The Phillies World Series, the Super Bowl, the Pope, and I'm not Catholic or anything like that, but just the magnitude and scale of the event and the energy that people had, that, like, I felt it too. I remember we were out on the street when the Pope Mobile went by, And it was just like, wow.
When we watched him go by and when we sat there on the mall and watched him deliver his speech, it was pretty, like, it's inspiring. I mean, my family's Catholic. I'm not a Catholic guy. I'm not a religious guy.
No.
But you sit there and you watch and you listen to this guy and you see the energy. Like, when you look back out on that crowd, the amount of people that came out to see that guy.
Unbelievable.
And you're like, you are, I don't know, how far was the riser from the Pope? Yeah. I mean, 2 football fields, maybe a football field. But you know what I'm saying? You're that close to this guy, and you see him on TV, and you see him in different things, and you're like, it's the Pope, so what?
Right.
But then when you see him in real life, and you see how crazy people really go and how insane, and you're like, wow, dude, this is an amazing experience, man.
Yes.
You know, it's something.
I mean, it was history right there.
Correct.
Firsthand.
And it's something.
And we're documenting it.
And you get the opportunity, not only you're documenting it, your opportunity to be in the space.
Yeah.
But you're also documenting it.
Right.
You're right. You also you're the satellite truck out.
Yeah.
So that puts you in a lot of places, more so than the average photog, right? So what are some of the trips, I guess, or some of the I guess, outside of the viewing areas has the truck taken you?
A couple times I've covered like political events during the political races, and I've had to go, to Harrisburg or New York City in one instance. It wasn't this last election. It was when Hillary was trying to get nominated against Barack Obama. Had to go up to New York City and navigate with this truck, and then establish a shot through the cavern of buildings and all that stuff, and then run 600 feet of cable. And this was last minute.
Dude, it is.
They called me at noon and said, hey, by the way, there's a 5 o'clock rally. Can you get there?
Hold on a second. Because, like, the loser that I am sometimes, I didn't turn my ringer off. Those political rallies, man, that's a whole nother beast, man. But I tell you, I was talking to when I talk about some of the opportunities that we get for doing what we do, and the ones that stand out the most was the time when, it was that same year, I guess, when Barack was running against Hillary.
Yeah.
And I was with him after he got the nomination.
Right.
And holy smokes, dude.
Well, you flew on the plane and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, you had a...
Dude, that's
that
life-changing.
is a passport to history.
Yeah, that's life-changing right there, man. Because I remember going into the room, and I remember everybody said, oh, he's a rock star, he's a rock star. I was like, why do they keep calling this dude a rock star? Dude.
He's a rock star.
I remember standing in the building, and he walked in, and the friggin' building felt like it was shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, people just cheering for 15 minutes straight.
Right.
You're thinking to yourself, like, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then I tell people all the time, I said, when I was younger, right, I used to always want to be a rapper. Like, who doesn't want to be Diddy, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we were on the bus up in Scranton. We were supposed to come back to Philly. And I says, dude was like, we're running late. His PR guy or whatever it is. We're running late. We're going to fly back to Philly. Fly back to Philly? Who flies back to Philly from Scranton? It's a 2-hour drive.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And he says, and I'm like, dude, by the time we get to the airport, check in, so we can be in Philly. He looks at me straight in the face and says, we don't check in at airports. I said, all right, I'm just going to sit here and watch the show.
Charter flight, baby.
Watch the show, man.
Yeah.
Man, we pulled on the tarmac right on the bus, man, hopped off the bus, walked over to the plane, hopped on the plane, flew to Philly, man. Drinks, food. I don't eat this good on planes that I fly commercial.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody told me to put my seatbelt on.
Yeah. Right.
That's when I knew the seatbelt rule was bogus.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It is, it's a whole new world, you know?
But dude, after that, I was like, dude, man, never mind being a rapper.
Sure.
I want to be a political candidate.
Right.
Because these guys live next level with it.
Yeah.
Man. What we do, the access that it gives you to see things that people just don't get to see. You know what I mean? It's pretty, I mean, little things, even from being in the tunnel at like a Wells Fargo Center, or like you had posted that video the one time with the
I walked
Eagles
out the
and-
tunnel into the stadium, and it was amazing how many people were just fascinated by that. And they're like, it's crazy because it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. The stadium was completely empty, but even when you come out of that tunnel, there's a and people were like, oh my God, imagine what that feels like when that place is rocking with, 67,000 people.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it is, wild and then you're actually there for a game or an event like that. I mean, in Minneapolis at the Super Bowl.
That was, I didn't know. I don't know what it was like in Minneapolis at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I just know how cold it was in Minneapolis.
That was cold. Yes. That was very cold.
I have no clue what it was like inside the building.
Yeah. Very nice people.
The people were great.
And then to come back from that, and then the parade and everything else that carried on over, that was these past few months.
So we
really, this first 6 months of this year,
right,
crazy. That Bill Cosby trial, which I got to say, that's a story that I think about. And it's, I mean,
your Temple guy.
What a fall from grace!
And what a fall from grace!
I met him when I was a student at Temple. I have a photograph with him, and wow,
I don't have a photograph with him because when I met him, cell phones weren't hot yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? We didn't, and I was shooting something, but it was sad, man, because he was that guy, man. Who didn't want to be Bill Cosby? You know what I mean? And then it's funny how life works, though, man, because he was very judgmental of young people.
Yes. As he got older.
He was very judgmental of young people. And then to find out, like, dude,
he's doing this?
Yeah, where do you get off, dude?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I don't know, Jared. I think we touched on enough to cover our 15 minutes here, man.
All right, yeah.
So we ain't done with our drink, but
whatever.
If we want to sip a little bit, it's too good to rush it. It's super smooth. What is this again, man?
This is Balvenie Caribbean Cask.
This is nice.
Yeah.
I gotta get a bottle.
That's good.
I can get this at a liquor store?
Yeah. Yeah, most liquor stores.
See if my wife.
It's typically a behind the counter situation.
Listen, man, I'm a kind of a behind the counter dude. I don't know if you met me.
I know. I just don't want you to waste your time out on the show.
Yeah. I don't know if you met me. But again, man, thank you for giving me a couple minutes of your time, Jared, joining us, man, on Behind the Counter. I was getting ready to call it Over Drink.
By the way, it's 90 proof.
Catch y'all in the next one.
See ya.